Hi, and welcome back to the next part of the build I'm doing for e-models for the Airfix Grumman F6F-5 Hellcat. Okay, and this part we're going to be doing the engine. So I'm going to start off with like the main central part of the engine and build up the rotary engine, different parts, to eventually build up, which was a little bit I've seen of it. It's a pretty good looking engine, and you also got the optional copper wire, 0.7mm copper wire that you can get to make up the extra bits of detail, which I'm going to have a go at. So we'll start off with sprue J, which is all these parts. So I'll start with these two parts with this in the middle, and then build it up from there. So we'll have a look through and see how things go. So it gives a bit of a call out which colours go where on there. So we'll get some bits off the sprue and see how we get on. Okay, so we've got some other parts for the engine off and clean them up, glue them together and prime them. This sprue I found was a bit flash heavy, considering it's a new kit. We're going to need to do a little bit of tidying up. See, it's quite a lot of seam lines, so it took actually a lot of cleaning up on this. Hopefully it was just my kit and not everybody else's, but that's just my finding so far. Otherwise everything's gone together really well. So you've got the 9 pistons on this part, and there's another, where have we gone? There we go. 9 pistons there. So that's, so I'm going to paint these up with cylinders themselves are aluminium, but this ring at the bottom is dark grey, as well as the back of the engine cylinder. So it goes on this way with a prop at this end. Another thing I found, someone put in one of the comments that this part onto the build they'd watched wasn't round. Luckily this one is actually okay. The parts do slide on, they're very snug, take a bit of pushing down, so that's why I'm setting up painting it, because that'll just make them tighter. So once we bed this up dark and we start assembling it, we'll show you how snug everything is. Now this is the first piece that fits on this part here. It's really good to push down, but luckily it's quite chunky, you can get a good grip on it and push it down. But then you work up through the parts excuse me, and build up the engine. So what I'm going to do next is do the painting. So we've got colours we're going to use are dark grey, aluminium, just flat black for a couple of parts, there's a bit of copper, and some of the parts are gunmetal grey on there, so these are the colours I'm going to be using. So I'm going to do is sort out which the parts into colour groups, and we'll get everything sprayed up. There's a bit of masking to do on this one and this. They're both, as I say, the cylinders are aluminium, the ring at the bottom is dark grey, so we'll work out how to do the masking for that in due course. So I'll show you where you're up to and just mention about this part. So this one is actually quite round, so things do fit on. So there's a groove here, so make sure you've got everything in the right orientation. Okay, so we'll press on with some painting. Okay, see you in the next bit. Okay, as you can see, we've done a bit of painting. So this one I've just done the dark grey and the aluminium, and this one I've done obviously the same colours, but I've used the titanium panel line accent on there just to highlight the lines. It tones down the aluminium, gives a bit of detail. And there, so I'll move on and do this. I just thought to show you what we're doing with the weathering side of it. So best what I do with this is sorry, excuse me. Painted the cylinders aluminium and then sort of use a brush rather than the airbrush. Just painted the dark grey in. You could mask all these off and spray it, but I've used the XF24 dark grey. If you get it wet enough, you can paintbrush. I'll say that in English. Paint with a brush with Tamiya. You need to make sure it's thin enough to get it moving around, and then just let it dry. So that's a bit more weathered. We'll move on to this one, and well, I'll come back in a little minute. We've done a bit more. Okay, just doing a bit more weathering on the engine. I just thought I'd show you what I've been using. For example, I've got the exhausts, which were painted with Vallejo metal colour, gunmetal grey, and give them a dusting with track rust, which came in aeroplane engine exhausts weathering kit, which I got from E-Models. So I'll just give it a dusting over its pigment powder. Just give the exhaust a dusting over, just to give it a bit of weathering. Just makes it look less shiny and gunmetally. Just sort of tones it down a bit. And on the cylinders themselves, as I did the panel wash, which I showed in the last bit, and I gave them again just a light going over around the top, just a little bit of contrast of the fresh engine oil. It's not sort of dripping down or anything like that, because I don't think the engines would have been that much. It's just to give it a little bit of extra colour and feel to the cylinders. I've got this black pigment which you can use for smoke effects, so I'll have a look. Probably use that on the body of the plane when we're doing where the exhausts are, so we'll have a look at that. So that's where I'm up to. Other bits we've done, if you can find it. So that's the main core of the engine. So we'll start in a sec, once these have dried a bit, building up the engine and see how that looks. Just thought I'd show you what weathering equipment I've been using. So they've got the track rust and the engine oil we've used so far with, I'll let it up before you pick it up, the panel line accent colour black on there. So it just gives a little bit something for the eye to catch, rather than just being shiny aluminium. Okay, so we'll let those dry, and then we'll have a look at building the engine up on this part. See you in the next bit. Okay, so this is all the parts we have for making up the engine. We've just got the core, and then you build up through the different parts up to this very coppery bit at the front. So just follow the instructions. So there are two of these. Two ways of telling them apart is one, these sticky bits, don't know what they are actually, but they lean towards the centre of the engine, like so. But the easier one is, one's aluminium, one's black. Black one goes at the front. Okay, so we'll make a start on getting these on the engine. So make sure you get them right way around. So these go with these pointing towards the back of the engine, and so you've got the groove here, matches up with the groove there. Get on straight, get over that lip, and as I say, it's a snug fit. Get all the way up. You mentioned the previous part, it's a good job this bit's a chunky bit, otherwise it'd be murder. So anyway, that's the first bit on, just make sure there's no gap up there. So then we do this part, again just line it up. Hope we can get it on without breaking it. Come on, you went on before. Right, something needs turning up. Right, there's a little bit of an edge on there. Makes me thinking, there it is. Just clean up the edge. There seems to be a little bit of a lip. I don't know whether that's from the painting or not. Just run your blade around, tear that off. Get rid of the bits, and we'll try again. So again, make sure your bits lean towards the middle. Nope, still doesn't like it. We'll get the paint off the inside. Let's try again. There we go. So just make sure you only push on the centre part. So again, that's up snug there. Excuse me. So the next part is the cylinders, and on the instructions you can see these little loops go towards the middle, and the sticky out bits, whatever they are, point towards the back of the engine. So it's that way around. So again, line everything up. Okay, and all the way up. As you can see, these match up to the top of the cylinder heads there, and there's no gaps. Looking okay so far. So then we have this large ring. So again, refer to your instructions. So we've got this block bit at the bottom, and with the larger fins pointing towards the back. Just double check. So yeah, so that's at the bottom of the engine. Yes, so these go over the top of the cylinder heads, just work it around. Okay, and it does say don't glue this. Excuse me. Okay, it's coming along there. So we're up to there. So over the page we have the next cylinder head thing. Again, this one's the other way around, so with the fins sticking towards the front of the engine. Line everything up. There you go, looking good. So then the other ring, find your groove. So there you go, so that all lines up on there. Big chunk engine, isn't it? Looking good. So once get a bit further on, we're going to be doing a bit of dry brushing on the top of the black parts. What I tend to use is dark. Yeah, I've got dark aluminium, so I tend to do a bit of pardon me, sorry, I think I'm going to go and get a drink in a sec. What I tend to do is a bit of dry brushing with a dark aluminium colour just to bring up the highlight of the black parts. I've done a little bit on the this part, so it just sort of brings up the edges of things so it's not flat completely. So we're up to there, so I'll just pause it for a sec there. I'll go and get a drink, sort this tickly cough out, and we'll finish off putting the other last bits on, and then we'll have a think about this copper wire part. And I think what I'll do is I'll go out a couple just to see how fiddly it is, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so just pause there for a sec, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've just fit the front parts, basically like all the rest, it just squeezes on. It does on the side here have a slight little lip that lines up with the groove that everything else lined up with, so you can get it in the right direction. So I just really pushed it on and put some Airfix thin in there just to fix it, but don't forget to put the propeller drive shaft in before you push it on. And then the copper part just fixes in here. There's a couple of points where it touches the black parts on here, so sorry, I've glued there as well, let it dry, and then I've done a couple of the copper pipes. So we just started off at the bottom of the engine with F and E, which is one of those. F, the first one, was relatively easy. It's basically from the end joint there to the first hole there, and this second one again from the end hole there around the back of the cylinder into there. So there are lots of wiring through. Make sure you get the right hole the right length. I'll film doing a couple. If it's not all fingers and thumbs and backs of my hands, I'll include them. If it is, then I won't. But that's gives you an idea how it is. It is fairly fiddly, because you've got to reach around in between and fiddle it around and bend it around. Suppose you've got some copper wire. I got this from Hobbycraft here in the UK, from the jewellery section. It's relatively cheap. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it's fairly cheap. And you just line it up, measure out. So I think what I'll do, just basically work through, do all the A's, because they seem fairly simple. They're all attached to the hole in the front of each of these cylinders. then we'll work through there. Excuse me, cough's not much better. So anyway, that's where we're up to. Should look interesting once I got them all in, as long as I don't break anything. So anyway, I'll see you in the next bit, which might be fixing some of these, or it might be with it all finished. Just thought I'd give you a quick update. I've put a couple more in on here. Really quite fiddly, so I don't think I'm going to be able to film any of it, because it is very bendy. It's slightly shoved it in the hole and just fiddle around. There's not a lot of fiddling to do. What I have learned is if you get your pin vise with the appropriate needle, drill in and drill out to clean out the holes, and then the wire will go in much easier. Excuse me. And the other thing I find, because it gives you quite a lot of extra. I mean, this, I've had to cut a little bit off this length because I hadn't drilled the hole out and it wouldn't go in properly. But if you drill the holes out and the wire will go in, and then you CA glue it into this end, as I say, it's too fiddly to film, unfortunately, but it's sort of working okay so far. But I'll keep trying. If I can film a bit, for example, if one of the first ones, like just from there to there, I'll try filming that now, and see if it works. Then you can see what I do. So to start off with, make sure the hole's clear. So I'll just work around and. Most of them are. It's just they might be it's a bit bunged up with paint and primer. Okay, and same with the hole through here. Well, they all look pretty clear. They're quite big. So that feeds through there. So there'll be another one that goes over the top into the back. The other cylinder. So I'll, as I say, I'll just pause there for a sec, and you'll either see an update or me putting this part in the next one. Won't be a sec. Okay, so come to the instructions. The next piece we do is working across is wire A, which is a 12mm long, which is this. So this will go from this first junction point there into that hole there. So let's have a go. There's a hole there, and then get all of it. Come on. So we need different pliers for different bendings. Come on. So it needs to bend a little bit more at the end. So in the hole and then into the first like so. As I say, that's a fairly easy one. What we'll do is give it a dab of CA glue. That's gone a bit gloopy, a bit fresh. Helps if I show you. Okay, and just let it dry. And that is a simple application. The next one, B, goes from there over the top of the engine into the back of this cylinder. So from here through the hole there into that hole there. Just drill it out to give it a clean. So I'll cut the wire and again see if you can film it without it being too fiddly. It goes up over through the hole and bends around underneath, and it's going to be fairly fiddly. So anyway, got the idea of what we're doing, so we'll work through those and I'll be back in a minute with an update. Okay, so that's all the wiring done. You see it does look really good, I think. It's a shame I couldn't show you because it was quite fiddly. Very fiddly on this side, and as you work around you get basically more and more used to it until you get around the end where it's quite easy. But again, you've still far too many fingers and thumbs and backs of my hands to really show you. But you can see it's all come through. There's one gone loose there. I'll sort that out in a sec. So what I'm doing now is get the exhaust in at the back, which so far is sort of fairly easy to do. Just line it with this hole here on the right, and you can just see to the back there, again the other one on the right. Transfer the camera. And if you get it to point in the right direction, it sort of clicks in. So take all those two in, off the camera, it all worked. Switch the camera on and it doesn't. See, it sort of matches up there on this end. And you sort of fit the foot into that little groove. So you can do it without breaking things. Come on. There you go. Of course I'm handling them and pigment's coming off, so I'll redo that when I've got them all in. So that's the back of the engine looking, starting to look really good. Yeah, it's this one here, I'll fix that in a bit. So when we start pushing things around the back of the engine, you're going to touch things at the front. Anyway, we shall persevere. So I'll just pause it there, I'll get the rest of them in, and we'll start looking at putting things on the front. So I've already put this one on just to have a go. And it says it's going to set into a little hole in the top of the front of this, but there wasn't one, so I've just drilled it out. I think it's about a 0.9 needle did it. And also this angle part, I've put it in there, because that fits in this nice big groove that was here. It comes up at a right angle. It didn't reach, so I had to very gently persuade it to go over there. So that's the front so far. As So as I say, what we'll do, we'll just pause it there, get the rest of these in, and we'll see what else we need to do. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so that's the exhaust button. Put a bit of the pigment back on. That's the engine building up really nicely. So I think what I'll do there is, I think this part's about half an hour now, so what I'll do, I'll leave the engine part here, and we'll do another section where I've filled up the rest of the engine so it looks as though it should be able to fit back onto the front of the plane. So thanks for watching this part, and don't forget to pop along to emodels.co.uk, brilliant website. Got everything on there you'll need for your modelling needs. Okay, I'll see you in the next part. Thank you.